And really, this is kind of, and let's say preseason All-American, first team All ACC. He's got all the accolades in the beginning of the season. So he is the man. Like, he is the guy who's supposed to call for that ball. And you know what? I told him, I said, you got to be assertive. Like, if we don't have 4 or 5 possessions where we go and we don't score the ball, you got to call for the ball. You got to give me the ball. You know what I mean? And I think this Indiana game was really the first game that he was like, all right, let me see the ball. We saw those 3-4 times where he scored in a row, and that's who he is. Like, this is your team. You know what I mean? You're the preseason All-American. You have all these accolades. So don't be afraid to get that ball. Even if you do miss it, I just want to see you be assertive and take that role, and he did it. And, he really ended up winning the game for us with those 3-4 possessions. Obviously everything else going on played a part in the win, but it was awesome. It was awesome to see that, man. It was awesome to see him really kind of take control and kind of, because you look at Buddy, he's not a guy who's loud, and he's not going to be talking a lot, but every game you kind of see a little bit more and more of that emotion. You see a little bit more of that assertiveness in this Indiana game. I think for him personally, could kind of shoot him up as far as his confidence goes, and just how he plays going forward in the season, because Indiana, again, that's a really good team. And we saw after that 4th position, they're sending that double team to him. That's a sign of respect right there. When they have to send 2 guys to him, it goes to show that, all the hard work that he's been doing has really been working. So I loved it for him, that he was just assertive and he went after it, because I think that's what type of guy he needs. That's what you have to be. When you're the man, you can't fall back when it's, crunch time, or when you need a bucket. You need to go to that guy. Hey, I need this in the timeout, in the huddle. Hey, this is mine. I know what we're running, but give me the ball. Let me get it. And, he can be that guy going forward doing that.
Yeah, it was awesome. After, I think it was maybe the 2nd or 3rd time he scored on an isolation in that second overtime, he did let out a little bit of a yell, and, the crowd's going nuts. And it's just like, I don't know. You said it best. He had the preseason accolades. He is that guy, but that felt like a moment for him where it was like, okay, yeah, like he's really that guy. He's really the alpha of this team. And it's good to know that we have that guy, because all the great Syracuse teams have had a guy like that. I feel like that in the tournament, late stretches of game, you're going to have tight conference games. You need a guy that's going to get you but it's not going to always be him. I mean, the nice thing is a lot of these guys are really fearless. It seems like in crunch time, big moments, Joe will get up there. He'll hit some big shots. They hit some big free throws. Even Frank comes in, who you brought up. Like, all these guys stepped up when the team, we desperately needed that win, and to lose a 16-point lead, 18-point lead. It was the type of game that just felt like if you lost that, the season's in a different direction than how we're thinking right now.
No, absolutely. It was a huge win for our confidence. Just, again, going back, this team figures out ways to win. I don't care who it is. You could be up big, then go down, and you could give up. They grinded it out, and it was a team effort. Like we said, Frank came off the bench, wasn't playing the whole game, and hit 4 big free throws. It just shows that these guys are locked in on the bench. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're not pouting. They make a mistake. They come out when they get their time, their opportunity to come back in. They're going to make the most of it. And going forward, I think we'll look back at this win as a key moment in the season, to where they really did take that step up as a team, and then personally for a lot of guys. And talking about Buddy, I think he believed in himself, right? He did believe in himself, but it's different when you do it and you make it happen. He knew he could do that, but now he really did it. He made it happen. Now going forward, he's not even thinking about it. He's like, all right, give me the ball. I've done this. I could do it. And now his teammates have that confidence in him even more. Like, all right, I got to give Bud the ball, and same thing with Joe. If Joe hit, I got to give Joe the ball, and those guys are fearless. They play like that. And we need them to be like that for the rest of our guys, for these freshmen, for Benny coming in. Oh man, my leader, he has that confidence in me. So now he has that confidence in himself. It's big time for not only a few guys, but for the whole team to see that, because I think it's going forward. It just helps with everyone's confidence.
All right, next burning question here. Is this the best shooting team that Jim Boeheim has ever had?
I mean, we've had a lot of shooters that
I
been
know.
shooting team,
I
you
know.
know,
That's
like
why I was interested to hear your answer, because he said that at the start of the year. And look, they're shooting great, but it's hard to say it's the best. I mean, it's definitely one of the best, I would say, right?
yeah, I mean, you know, we had years when I played, it was myself, Andy, Johnny. I guess if you're saying pure shooters, like more like this is what they're doing, maybe, yeah. But all these guys can shoot the ball, right?
Mhm.
It's definitely one of the top 3-point shooting teams in Syracuse history for sure. Just percentage, and I guess going by pure shooters, Buddy, Jimmy, Cole, Joe, and then who else we got? Who else is coming off shooting it?
Well, those are really
No,
the four main guys. I
yeah,
mean,
those are really,
Benny,
yeah,
hopefully can develop that. I think Symir's hit a couple threes this year. He definitely hit one in the battle for Atlantis. So yeah, so
yeah.
it's interesting. I'll give
Those
you the
four guys are,
percentages here of the four guys. So Gerard is leading the way. He's got 54% from three. He started out 8 for 8. He's been red hot. Jimmy's in second, 46%. Then it drops off. Buddy and Swider, they're just getting defended really tight, obviously, too. But Buddy's 30% from three so far. Swider's 28%. I think it's just fascinating because at the start of the year, I maybe would have reversed those percentages like entirely on what I was projecting almost. And well, that's probably not fair. I mean, we knew all the four of those guys were going to be good, but for Buddy and Swider to be your lowest two, that might be encouraging that those guys aren't going to stay around 30%, I don't think. So that means they could even be better from three. Now, Joe's not going to shoot at 54% for the year, but it's good to see that he's gotten off to the good start.
yeah, and those two guys, they're getting defended differently, especially Buddy.
Right.
You know, he's coming off the screen, they're double team, they're trailing him hard. So a lot of his shots are contested, you know, off the dribble, contested shots. And if he does have a wide open shot, it's either in transition or it's going to be a good penetrating kick. But you know, you can't, the percentages don't really tell you the whole story. You know, I mean,
No.
I remember looking at G-Max percentage. He was like 34 or 33 one time, but he hits the biggest shots when you need him the most. You know what I mean? So percentages, they don't really tell the whole story at all. I mean, a guy could be, like you said, Joe was 8 for 8.
Right.
He was shooting 100% on the year, right? But a lot of those shots, and a couple of them were tough shots, but a few of them were just wide open. So percentages don't really tell the whole story. It's Buddy's getting defended probably as hard as he has ever been, you know, this year. You know, obviously coming in with those accolades, you're going to get that type of defense. So and those percentages won't stay the same for, like you said, for Cole and Buddy. They'll go up, and you'd probably think they'll be in the 35, 36 range, and that's good, man. For
when you're shooting as much. Yeah,
when you're shooting a lot of shots and you have that type of percentage, you know, that's good. And I think a lot of the guys who have those high percentages, like, you know, 48, they're not shooting as many shots
now.
And if you are shooting many shots, shooting at that rate, you a straight shooter. You know what I mean? So percentages don't really tell the whole story all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Buddy would probably beat Jimmy in a 3-point shootout. Maybe you've seen some of those. I mean, I'm sure they've done it before, but Jimmy shooting 46%, that is encouraging. And he's probably the guy that's benefiting the most because you just can't guard 4 shooters. If you're a team and you're scouting Syracuse, you know, at a certain point, like, you can't guard all of them. And even though Jimmy probably has a slower release or a slower sort of windup than some of the other guys, he's still getting clean looks and he's knocking them down, which I don't think he was known. You know, when he came to Cornell, looking at his 3-point numbers, it was like 29% last year that he played at Cornell. Now, he didn't play last year because of COVID, but he's shooting 46% to this point. He's probably not going to stay up there, but still, that's the guy that maybe we were most worried about. Was he going to be able to knock down open shots out of the 4? And he's definitely doing it right now.
Well, I know he's been working his butt off in the gym, getting his jumper right. I mean, he's been shooting with red, and obviously you could tell. But you gotta know he's at that 4 spot. So the guy guarding him, he's most likely going to be a little bit slower. He's obviously not going to be guarding like a guard. So Jimmy, he can play that position where he kind of gets in and then pops out, and that guy, he's not fast enough and quick enough to recover. So he's a guy who could really find spots. You know, he can get to that short corner. You see a guy drive, then he's popping out to that corner 3. And the guy guarding him is usually, he's not fast enough to recover. So if he can start hitting that consistently, we see him doing now, it just opens up everything for him. Now guys are running at him. Now he's penetrating the lane. And we talked about earlier, he's a good decision maker with the ball. He can make that open pass. He could get into there and pivot, left hand, right hand. And he has the advantage at that. So I think that just being at that 4 position, he's going to get a lot of open looks. He's going to get a lot of pick and pops. He's going to get a lot of, drive and kicks to where he could space out to that corner. And then we see every game, they start out with that elbow play for him. They pass to that left elbow, and then that guy comes off for that handoff, and he kind of has that whole side to just go. And then a few times what he did is gets it on the elbow, and then he dribbles it back out to the 3. So now where that big guy has to come and defend. And then if he doesn't come up, then we talked about that's where he knocks down that 3. So Jimmy's been playing great, man. He's been playing great so far. I think it's just on that defensive end where we need to lock in. It's been that corner 3, it's been that short corner right there, and that's all the guys. But again, it'll pick up as the season goes.